Anyhow, I'm Grandpa D, and I'm called that because they don't know my real name. And it makes it much easier for them. They're all very intelligent granddaughters, I will tell you that. I'm the dumb one. We're going to be making a multi-ingredient Italian salad. It is probably the most complicated thing on the table at our meals because there's so many ingredients and that I've added to. And there's some I didn't even include. But I will tell you that we have all the things right here. And we have, and I'll explain them as I'm using them. But right now I'm preparing the ingredients, and probably the first one I want to get out of the way is celery. And what I do with celery is cut it in small pieces. I have also another theory that you shouldn't challenge women at the table by serving them huge clumps of things in the salad that they look undignified eating. It doesn't matter if you're feeding men, certainly teenagers, who just shovel it in. Then I slice down the white part of the celery, and then I cut it about an inch, half inch to 3/4 of an inch. And I'm almost finished with this now. And then if you pan to the left, you'll see this an example of what we start off with, which is the celery stalks. I also have here, I prefer a cucumber that is, I guess it's called a pickling.
It's so little.
Yeah, it is. And I like it because, and I slice it very, very thin. And I'll show you how that goes. In fact, you can see.
I'm gonna move the celery.
That's okay, yeah. You can see what I have here. I also take the tomatoes. And again, I don't like feeding ladies large chunks of tomatoes, so I would go with the cherry tomatoes, and then I cut them in half. And I will. I'm not gonna waste the time to do that.
Do you want me to do it?
No, well, yeah. You want to do that?
Yeah, why not?
A lot of people don't even know this exists, but this is called hearts of palm. I also slice these for topping. I also have, we discussed this already, the little black olives. But I took the pits out of it because the last thing in the world you want to have happen at a dinner party is to have somebody bite into an olive with a pit in it and lose their dentures. Yeah. I also like to add, for sweetness a little bit, who's that?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good looking. Oh, God. These are dried.
I love olives. I also love olives.
Yeah. Dried cranberry. And then I have roasted red peppers, which are in this jar right here. And what I did is I sliced them up. They had a little tangy flavor also, but they're roasted again, roasted red peppers. And then we have celery. And then for the, I also have a can of artichokes here, but I decided not to do that. But that's an example of the kind of things you can put into a salad. Then, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Nice to do. Then I have a primary ingredient. It really is primary. These are mint flakes.
Ooh.
And people, every time I serve a salad, they go, "What is that flavor?" It's mint flakes. When we were kids, my mother used to say, okay, we're making a salad. Why don't you go out and get the mint? And she used fresh mint. I like dried mint better. I think it has a stronger flavor. And then rather than using garlic powder or fresh garlic, I use garlic salt. That's the only garlic that I put in my salads.
Oh.
Then I have olive oil, and I don't use wine vinegar any longer. I use balsamic vinegar. You can get these ingredients most any good grocery store or import store. Costco carries both of them. I use the Costco olive oil and the balsamic. Rachel's almost finished now, and I'm going to take the lettuce and show what I do with it.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Let's put that into a bowl so I can use a cutting board without taking too much room. Thank you. Jessica finally contributed. Any other lettuce other than endive? And that's right here. Excuse me a moment. This now goes on the bottom of the salad bowl. And I'm just going to use one of these endive blossoms, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is take off the tail end, and then the root, whatever you want to call it, put it in here. And then I take anything off the top that looks like it's wilted, like this one or this one. That goes in there. Now, going back to the big bite theory, I take the endive and I cut it. You know what? I'm going to get the big knife.
I was going to say we might need a bigger one.
Don't go away. We're good. You take it under your hand and you cut it in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Yes.
And then you turn it over and you do it once again. Because what are you creating here?
Smaller bites.
You got
For
it.
women.
For women.
And men who have the least bit of manners.
Mm.
Okay. And then you cut it in about 3/4 inch pieces. That's done. You put it in the
Salad bowl.
and use it. And by the way, on the bottom of that bowl is a folded up, clean paper towel. And the reason for that is that when salad sits around for a period of time, the dressing, the juices from a lot of the vegetables, particularly the tomatoes, make the whole thing kind of soggy. And we can't have soggy, can we, ladies?
No.
All right. So then this goes in chop. Then I take these little plastic containers, far too expensive lettuce, but it's worth it because you add to it what we call spring mix. And the spring mix is, read that, I don't have my glasses, what's that say?
Baby lettuces and baby greens. And it's organic.
Yeah, it's organic. But I even take these,
Uh-huh.
and before I put them in the salad, right, let's just say I cut them up in salad. Again, I don't want some lady feeling that she has to.
God forbid we take a full bite, you know?
Fold over the pizza
No,
lettuce.
you're allowed to take a full bite, just don't have it hanging out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Very unbecoming for a lady.
And, particularly on the first date. You know, once you're married, who cares, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
You know those rules already, ladies? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how's it looking so far?
That's pretty.
Okay,
It looks like your salad.
it's supposed to. So, anyhow, now we add, I probably had too much celery and cucumbers, but that's okay. It goes in there, right? And then so does the pitted black Italian olives and olive oil. That goes
The
in.
cured olives, right?
1,000 years old. The olive oil cube.
Peppers.
Those are the roasted peppers. Let's put them up the center now. And then I add the hearts of palm. And you'll notice that the color of a salad is the same color as the Italian flag, which is red, right?
Green and white. I didn't know I was supposed to fill in the rest. I'm so sorry.
I knew you would. I knew you would.
Slow, Rachel.
I'm so sorry.
Very slow.
I had to pick it up.
Then I put in salt. Now remember, you're going to be putting in olive salt in there, so you don't have to do a lot of salt. So still, you want to have that salt flavor. And then I take, I like to grind my pepper into it because it's a little chunky. You know it's there. And this is pepper. What is it called?
Pepper grinder?
The whole pepper is called.
Peppercorns.
There you go, peppercorn. Save the oil till last. I'll tell you what, if I'm taking this somewhere, I cover it and I take oil aside because oil makes the salad
Soggy.
soggy. Okay. And the ratio of olive oil to balsamic is 2 to 1. 2 olive oil, 1 balsamic. So I'm going to see that about 4 or 5 times. And I'm going to do this one 5 or 10 times. Or thereabouts. And you do a lot of this by touch. And I will encourage you again too, if you have a certain amount of, I will tell you that little chunks of apple in this, my exception to the fruit rule is that apple really is very tasty in here. So is our walnuts. But not a big chunk of them, but just enough to add a little bit of flavor. So actually, that's it. All right, so what I do then is I take the garlic salt, I put this on, not too liberally, just to add a little taste, okay? That's about it. What was that, 4.5 shakes?
Something like that.
Yeah. And then, again, I think this is the most important ingredient of my salad. Now, this is not necessarily Italian. This is from the other half of my heritage, which is Lebanese. Because they use a lot of grape leaves for everything. I think that's enough. One more.
And mint, right? Because it's mint, right?
Yeah. But it adds a certain essence that you don't get without it. Okay? Then I take my tongs and I put it in there. I twist it, turn it until everything is mixed together. Now that should be an edible and healthy addition to whatever you sit on your table.
It looks so good.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys take some of this home with you if you'd like, because
Yes.
we're not gonna consume it all. So that's Grandpa D's 15 ingredient Italian, a little bit of Lebanese salad, and these with the help of my Anglo-Saxon granddaughters. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Our next recipe will be what?
I don't know, we haven't decided yet.
But thank you for joining us. Meredith, how'd it go?
Rachel's muted here.
Is it
We're
muted?
dealing with a toddler.
But when he appeared, he was so cute.
Give him a hug and a
Hi,
kiss.
Leo. We love you.
Where are the other ones? Are they out with their dad?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You look lovely, honey. Thank you for joining us. We're gonna sign off
Thank
now.
you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Wow.
Mwah.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
All right, let's get the dishes out.
Let's get the dishes out.
I have napkins on the table. Ready?
Thank you.
Okay. This should be a much smoother and shorter operation than the previous 3, which I hate. Leo! Hi, Leo! I'll wait until you're ready.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. And I have the container with the rest of them here. He's growing.
He's so cute.
Oh, anyhow, I don't put sweet fruit, except for cranberries, which are dried, in a salad. I just don't. If I make a fruit salad, I make a fruit salad. This is a dinner lettuce salad. Go ahead, Jessica. Read a poem.
Read a poem.
That was the task you wanted her to do?
Recite a
Recite a poem. I don't have any
She is
memorized.
so literate. You can't believe it.
So literate.
Yeah, that means I can read a poem, but I don't have one memorized.
You
Ready
notice,
to
by the
go.
way, she didn't say poem, she says poem.
Poem.
That's how you know. Yeah.
This should be edited out, Rachel.
No, that's not going to be it. This is my,
Oh, don't walk with it like that.
yeah,